Welcome back to Life with SCG and Happy New Year. I'm finally out of the jailhouse. I probably shouldn't joke about it, so I was in a mental health hospital. A huge shout out to the Fish Fam and everyone who was uploading content whilst I was in there. So it was a good 2 weeks and it kept me entertained. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate all the support as well. And so anyway, let's get onto it. You will notice behind me, I have started tearing down my 55-gallon display tank. So one thing I've wanted to do for a while is upgrade this tank to a bigger tank. And whilst I was in the jailhouse, I did actually stumble across a 150-gallon tank on Facebook Marketplace for only 180 bucks. So massive steal. I mean, that's only what, like 100 US bucks, something like that. So couldn't, obviously had to do it. So yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. Obviously I also need to make another stand, which I've employed Dad to do. He's currently doing it at the moment, and let's show you. Here we've got the big girl. Yeah, she's pretty big. And what I was originally doing is that you'll notice that there's a bucket tub over in the back there. I did start putting the fish from this tank in that bucket. However, I ended up deciding that I would put a lot of them in the outdoor tank because I am going to get the Eliodii cichlids out of that tank. And they're going to be my main centerpiece fish in the new display tank. So exciting times. And we've obviously got my Bolivian rams, which I've shown a fair bit of in quarantine. They will also be joining them, and I don't know what else at this point, so I am thinking about it, thinking maybe a big school of diamond tetras. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But anyway, something that I am going to do today is, since I've got a brand new tank, I have wanted to try out an under gravel filtration system, and obviously the aquaponic system, whilst I'm still going to use it, it's probably a little bit small for 150-gallon tanks. So just a little bit extra filtration rather than just having the sponge filters in there. Gonna try it out, see how we go. So anyway, let's play around with the filtration. All right, so before we get on to playing around with the filtration, here's a bit of footage of me starting to tear down the old tank. This was a bit of a tedious process, and it took me about 2 days to catch all the fish out. Fun times. So now time to bring the big girl in, and without discriminating, boy, is she heavy. Big girl, you are beautiful. I mean, look at her. Yeah, pretty happy with her. And, there's a few imperfections, but, that comes with a little bit of character, and she's going to look fantastic as the main display. So before stuffing around with the under gravel filtration setup, this is what I also got up to today. Obviously putting a little bit of protection down. Really good method to my madness. Worked like a treat. Overspray still went everywhere. And obviously need to paint the tank black, and I did end up running out of spray paint halfway through and had to go get more. But yeah, obviously a pretty basic process, and pretty simple. All right, so let's have a look at her. Yep, so she's got a couple of layers on. I think I ended up doing about 3 layers, nice and thick, and she's probably ready to come off. And we'll show you what I've got. So for the under gravel filtration, I stumbled across this crate thing at Bunnings. Oops, should probably be a little bit more careful. And we've got another one here, and it was near perfect size. So picked up 2 of them. I think that was 17 bucks each, and I'm going to do a DIY system, just using some 19mm pipe, and we're going to chuck some air stones in. So I do need to cut this down a little bit more, just because it is a little bit less on this side, and then we'll stick the hoses in. But gonna look fantastic over there. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut these to size, and what I've also done is cut a hole in both of them. That way the tube will fit like that. And what I am also going to do, which I saw Harlan do, so another YouTuber from Australia, thanks Harlan, is just snip at the bottom that way. When I put my shoe in, when you're going to do it like that. I'll keep that yellow hand that way. Yeah. Anyway, you get the drift of my logic. And yeah, obviously I'm not going to be able to install it fully because there is going to be substrate that goes underneath. And obviously with an under gravel filter, the idea is that you want to be using a gravel for the majority of it. However, because I am going to be having my Eliotti's cichlids and also the Bolivian rams, they're obviously earth eaters, I am also going to probably, when I scape it, have more sand substrate over to the sides and front, just so that they've got somewhere to obviously, you know, do what they need to do. So let's see if this fits properly and go from there. Okay, so idea is this will just slot in over this side. And the tube will go in there. And obviously with the black background, I do need to obviously cut it a little bit shorter. It'll hopefully, there's weight there. Oh, there we go. Anyway, hopefully it won't be very noticeable anyway, because, you know, some people think that under gravel filters is really ugly, but I'm, you know, trying to go for the more natural style. You know, why spend big bucks when you don't need to? So now, this one, let's hope my cutting skills worked well. Oh. Alright, might need to take a little bit more off, but anyway, we get the gist and yeah. Next up will be hopefully installing the tank and get to the fun part of a new aquascape. So exciting times ahead. So let's finish off with a little bit of feeding of the fish around the house. So here's the outdoor tank, and obviously we can see that there's a lot of the fish that came out of the main display now inside this tank. And there's my Eliotti's that are going to be moving into the main display once it's set up and running. And I have no idea what this guy is doing, just riding the wave. Next up, we've got the outdoor bluegrass guppy tank, and there seems to be a lot of babies in there and a lot more val than when I last left it. So yeah, definitely need to get in there and do some maintenance, but it's all keeping all right at the moment. So the fish seem to be enjoying it. We'll get in there probably tomorrow. So here's the indoor bluegrass guppy tank, and again, lots of babies. So turns out Mum actually left on the lights whilst I was in hospital. Many thanks to her though. Her and Dad obviously came round looking after all of the fish, did a good job. But yeah, obviously still a bit of maintenance to be done on all of them. Here we've now got my grow out tank for my neon dwarf rainbow fish, and they're finally getting some size. So they finally are colouring up and you can somewhat sex them. There's obviously some bluegrass guppies in there as well. That, yeah, I need to sort them out. But yeah, fun times. Yeah, so I really need to learn to let go of these guppies because obviously this is pretty insane. So these are the platinum Dumbo ear guppies, and this tank is going to get pulled apart anyway because a lot of the plants that I've got growing in there are going to come a part of the new display tank. So wish me luck on being able to part ways with some of these guys, and yeah. Looks like I didn't get all the fish out. Hey, little dude. All right. Yep, you're going to have to go in the tub. Aww. You're so cute.
Okay, so here is the makeshift bucket tub thing that has a lot of fish in there. So there is a few tetras in there that made their way in there before I decided to put them into the outdoor tank. So they will eventually move out there and not into the new tank. There's also the Cory cats, which will go into my new display. And I've also got a bristlenose in there somewhere, as well as, a lot of snails. So need to do something about my snail population. Bye.